So anyway, my oldest son texted me this picture last night on WhatsApp. This picture of these. What kind of shoes are these, Jay? They're Jordans, right?
These are the original Air Jordans.
Hold on. Go ahead.
These are the original Air Jordans.
Right. So he sends me this picture. He's got a job and everything. He's a working hard, young type of man, upstanding, fine citizen. So he sends me that picture, and I said, wow, I always wanted a pair of those, but I could never afford it. Congratulations. And he was like, wow, really, Dad? And he was like, yeah, they've been around since 1984.
Also, these are the ones with no arch support.
Yeah.
This I know. I mean, these are really, really stylish. If you have some of these, I mean, it's basically like a car payment.
Right.
But apparently Michael had flat feet because these are,
Yeah, but it was funny because he was like, yeah, Dad, they've been around since 1984. And I was like, yeah, son, I know. I was there. These kids nowadays, man. 707.
I wonder if Senator Moylan had a pair of Jordans from way back.
No, he doesn't really seem like a Jordan kind of. Did you have?
Also, these are the ones. With
Where are you, Senator? There you are.
For my Converse. That I can only get once a year, the school year starting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are a Chuck Taylor guy, huh, Senator?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you had the what is it? The option of the knee high one or just the half one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you only get tennis shoes once a year.
Yep.
For school.
School year. Yep. Converse. Hard to believe people used to play basketball in those things.
It's amazing. Dr. J's ankles still work.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
708. Well, enough about shoes. Good morning, by the way. This is the link brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box. Republican Senator Jim Moylan joins us in the KUAM News Zoom room. Good morning, Senator.
Hi, good morning, and happy, it's Thursday already of
Yeah.
the week. Good morning, you all.
Brought you on because I saw you wrote a letter to the governor, and this was relative to the RISE Act. And so I kind of read through it a little bit, Senator, and the gist of it was hurry up and pay this thing.
Yes, yes. And going back to now we have the All Rise Act via executive order.
Wait, hold on there. You said it wrong. Bree, what is it called?
All rise.
Thank you.
All rise. Yeah, Quince, you go to those meetings at Adelup, and when the governor comes in, we basically, that's what we do. We all rise. So it's kind of fitting, I guess, to name it that, coming from
Kind of an inside joke
order.
with the Adelupians. They're like, oh, get it? Because we always say rise when the governor comes in, and now we got this all rise thing, and it's like,
All rise, yeah.
It's an insider kind of thing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So the executive order altered the RISE Act, right?
Yeah.
But if we go back a little bit, when this RISE Act was actually into public law in the 35th Guam legislature, the governor had some difficulties with it then, right? She lapsed the RISE Act into law because she felt it was discriminatory. And then she never implemented the RISE Act. And then the pandemic comes, and then the conversation starts again. The RISE Act could help. It's law. You lapsed it into law. Pay it out. Then the governor said, well, it's still discriminatory, and I'm going to take it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General answered and said, there's other laws that are available for benefit some folks and don't benefit others. We're not discriminating. Governor, you can pay it out. And so we waited again, and it wasn't paid out. And then in May, on the executive order, 2021-11, she created the All Rise, right? And now it's July, and we still haven't paid out the revision of it. And some of the difficulties, well, there's two things. We're awaiting DRT's application process, okay? And then we're also awaiting the identification of funds. So I know DRT is working hard on that application process, and I believe we have over $600 million in funds available too. So we had the money, so I think they should identify it and dedicate it to that for the All Rise thing. Now, if the governor insists that we must have an application and DRT insists we must have an application, then I think with that, that's all we need. if they really must have that application process, and I'm glad DRT is trying to put that online to expedite that, and the mayors are assisting, that's great too. But they're going back, the governor is going back after altering the RISE Act through executive order by including, now we know it's the local government employees and the federal employees and the GovGuam retirees are included in the All Rise Act, which was excluded in the Public Law 35136, the RISE Act.
Let me ask you this, Senator.
So-
Let me get in because we had
Yes.
a comment from Rosemary. She comments in the RISE Act was for private sector capped at $30 million because she, meaning the governor, added GovGuam retirees and I believe federal workers. Why can she not raise the $30 million? All she keeps saying is first come, first serve, and if the funds run out, they run out. It's another slap in the people's faces.
From the start, yes, and that's what I was trying to preference this. From the start, the governor has fought on the RISE Act. Now with the All Rise Act, again, still delaying the process. The executive order changed, amended, completely changed what the original RISE Act said by including federal employees, government employees, and retirees. With a stroke of the pen on the executive order 2021-11, the governor amended that. Why not, just like that, the comment coming online, simply adjust the 30 million. That 30 million was based on an estimate of the private company employees who are eligible. And so we put in 30 million. Now you're including government of Guam employees, federal employees, and retirees. With a stroke of a pen, as easily as you did that executive order for All Rise, increase the $30 million. I've heard the governor say it's capped. Well, I've heard the governor tell me more than once that we have no authority, the legislature, on how she wishes to spend the recovery money. So now you're telling us you need to follow what the original RISE Act says. Now you're telling the people of Guam, oh, there's only $30,000 available. Now you're telling the people of Guam, we're increasing the amount of people that are eligible for this because I think it's the right thing to do. But if the money runs out, I'm sorry, first come, first serve.
Yeah.
I disagree with that entirely. If the governor so wished to help more people, good for her, right? And good for the people of Guam. But you can also, with the stroke of a pen and an executive order, as simply as what you did by increasing the amount of people eligible, increase the amount of money in that. You can follow along as those applications come through with DRT to say, we have so many hundreds, we're at this much was dedicated. We have, I don't know, $1 million left. Let's increase that. That's how the CARES money came to Guam. Little and piecemeals at the time. Spend it, we'll give you more. As you spend it, we'll give you more. Governor, you have over $600 million. You're telling us that you're going to keep the budget of $30 million on the All Rise Act, which would put money directly into the hands of the most needy of the people of Guam, which by doing so, they spend their spend on their necessities in our local stores, which hires the people, which pays employee tax, and the employer pays the BBT tax, which comes back to the government of Guam in the form of revenue for our general fund to provide the services for the people of Guam. Yes, I agree with that comment from that listener. Yes, the governor has adjusted the original RISE Act of who's eligible. The governor as well can adjust the amount. There is no cap for the governor. The governor has complete authority to adjust that amount as much as necessary to meet those who apply.
You know, it's
so that's part of the letter as well.
Kind of irresponsible, or I mean, I don't know if I just missed it, but when the governor amended public law with an executive order for this All Rise, were there any numbers provided? Did she say, like, I want to include the GovGuam retirees, and this is how many retirees there are, this is how many government employees are, this is how many federal workers would be eligible, and this is how much extra it would be Or this is at the very least, this is how much it would cost if they each get the 800 or whatever it is. I mean, that's kind of basic. If you're going to amend this law and let everyone fight for this $30 million, why not also come to the table and be genuine and say, hey, I want to include the retirees, I want to include the government employees, I want to include the federal workers, which was not the intent of this law at all, but I'm amending it because I have superpowers through an executive order, and it's going to cost this much more. Or this is how much it's going to cost. I mean, isn't that kind of basic? Like, what's up with you senators? You don't even ask the right questions. Like, why didn't anyone say, hey, Governor, how much is that going to cost? Because we're sitting here talking about letting everyone fight over $30 million, but we don't have any idea how much this new that the governor's bringing is going to take out of that $30 million. And what you're going to end up having is this law that was passed with the intent of assisting private sector workers who are out of work, and now they've opened it up for people who were working and were getting paid. And we don't know how much it's going to impact the private sector people who were the original, supposed to be anyway, the original recipients of this RISE Act. So
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Very good point, Chris. And I just like to make a distinction. The RISE Act is not being used here. Public Law 35136 was not implemented. It's done. It's going to die. It's actually going to sunset it as well. It doesn't exist. What the governor is paying out or has implemented in the All RISE Act is an executive order. The governor can put in that executive order anything she wishes to do. She basically crumpled up the RISE Act and said, you senators don't know what the heck, you know. And my idea is better, but I'm just going to keep with the 30 million. Would the governor have identified the difference by increasing those who are eligible to apply? Well, definitely, right? But if you're going to make it so difficult by keeping with all these requirements, that DRT is just following instructions. It's not the DRT's instructions, it's the governor's instructions. And the governor somehow wants to refer back to the RISE Act that was not implemented. She did not implement 35136. She implemented the executive order, but wants to make it difficult with still going back to the original RISE Act. You don't have to do that. If you want the application, then so be it. You don't have to have everything else. You don't necessarily have to have the mayor's confirmation that, hey, I'm a resident. You got the tax information. But if you want to blame the legislature for only making 30 million, well, you never implemented our law the way we said it. So therefore, you know, with the all powers that the governor has through the executive order, you increase the eligibility of the people that are eligible, increase the amount of money. The governor has told the legislature butt out so many times with the federal funds, it's none of your business to include our current budget that we're going through now. She is not letting us know how much money the governor is dedicating from the American Rescue Plan into the budget for the agencies. So I'll tell you later, my plan's in draft form. You guys, senators, figure it out with the general fund. And from there, I'll distribute the money as so I wish. So, okay.
So Senator Moylan,
that's what you want to do.
having said
Yes.
all that, and having said that she took Public Law 35136, crumpled it up, how do you know that she's not doing the same thing with your letter?
Oh, that's understood. That's understood. And how I if the governor does something, well, I'll find out through the news, right? By listening to you good folks here on that. I'm making this statement. I'm putting it cordially, and I'm doing it letter form to the governor on her busy schedule. I'm going to hear it. You should have picked up the phone and called me. Well, then how am I going to reiterate that to my constituents? How am I going to share that with my colleagues? Oh, the governor told me this. Oh, I heard on the radio this. Why don't you play back the tapes on?
No, you're right.
On the link.
It's a failure.
Time.
It's a failure. Communications failure at Adelup. We shouldn't be out here talking to the wall. We just shouldn't. We shouldn't. These questions get asked, then Adelup should be coming with the answers. You know, it's like pulling teeth to get any information out, even when you do ask. So,
Right. Yeah. So yes, my letters have become paper airplanes, and okay.
how about paper
So-
footballs?
But at least we started the conversation, and with the media's help, social media
Yeah.
as well. Somehow it forms into something from the governor's office that hopefully helps the people of Guam. And in this case, it's the All Rise Act that she has formed with the governor's own intent at the governor's cap, not the legislature's cap. When you did the executive order, you can simply have, with the stroke of the pen, doubled it, or say, I won't stop until the last eligible person
Wow.
receives their check.
Wouldn't that be something? I won't stop
Instead
until
of
everybody gets their all rise. I'm not going to
That's
sleep
right.
until the people
Right.
have that money in their pocket. Instead, it's like, never mind. They're going to say next month. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, this is important for the people of Guam. You got so many calls, right? That's the
Senator,
main
you have no
concern.
idea.
I mean, 112, that's an issue, right? But when you deal with the pocketbooks of the people of Guam, that's their life, right? These are people that need this money, which has been delayed since it passed in public law in the 35th Guam legislature, and has been fought from being lapsed, which has been fought through the Attorney General, with finally creating it their own executive order, trashing 35-136 to make it super duper all rise, right? But still is putting pressure on those
Super-duper
most
all right.
eligible, causing stress unnecessary when this should be been something of a relief, causing stress to the mayor's office too.
They're not
when
even,
this should
people
be
aren't
something of
stressed.
a relief
They're
as
pissed
well.
off, Senator. The people I talk to about this Rise Act, especially the private sector workers who are out of work and on the PUA, they're just pissed. They don't understand. They feel like the governor hates them.
Right, now you got people racing to get to the front of the line. Why are we doing that? Now you got people worried, am I going to meet the cutoff?
Where's yours, Bree?
Why do we do that?
Are we on
You
here?
have over $600 million. Yeah, there's my letter.
Here's Senator
Mike,
Moylan's letter to the governor. That's what they do to this at Adelup. They're like, yep. All right, that's Senator Moylan letter. Go. You know where to put that. Oh, yep.
There you go. Hey, that was a good
Yeah,
one.
there's
That's
your
a
all
good quote
rise.
there. I got my vaccination card. I can get on that plane too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it is
So-
really frustrating.
Yeah. Let's
'Cause
let's
we're
not
talking
stress
about
the
this.
people of Guam, the most needy of this money, right? We even did a measure, I think it was Bill 77 or 76, saying double the Rise Act. You know, we waited too long. Double it. You got over $600 million. It is not a grant. I heard that also. And comparing it to a grant where it's capped, no, it is not. You know, you're not. You can adjust that. You can increase that. Well, the governor has done that before. The governor can do it again. The way this is going, it's disappointing. Yes, we're going to put money in the hands of people. Yes, some are going to get it. But unless the governor increases this amount, then we're putting people against people, trying to beat each other in front of the line. And that's not what should be done.
So what's going to happen though? Because I know when she was asked this question, I think over a month ago, about now that you've expanded the Rise program to the All Rise, what about the 30 million? Because it was capped, and she was pretty adamant that like, no, I'm following the law. 30 million is what they told me, so 30 million is what they're going to get.
But I mean, she
Right, so,
essentially doubled the amount of people
Right,
who.
I realized that,
Yeah.
but that was just basically her
It's just,
response.
I mean, it's really,
So-
it's when it's convenient for her to hold up the law and say she's following the law, then she says that. When it's not convenient, she just throws in the trash can. I don't understand. It's so frustrating for us because everywhere I go, like Menenzuela's, for real, people are just like, what's up with the Rise? I just went to go cash a check the other day, and the lady was like, can you give us the application? Is it out already? And people think there's an application out because of all this mayor's verification. And they've been asking me since December when the thing passed.
Mm-hmm.
It's now the 7th month of 2021.
Right. Yeah, good point. And then Bree, to answer your question as well, I can introduce a measure to say, I make it 100 million on the bill, right? Oh. Or until the last applicant is received, until the last application is received. We can introduce that in a measure. Why do that? Why go through the public hearing process? Why have the senators fight to do this when you never implemented the 3536, the original RISE Act to begin with? When you just took it by executive order and you implemented your own All RISE Act. But if you need the senator to tell you something you told the senator you have no business in dealing with, okay. You know, make another airplane with my bill. but if that's what I really need to do, okay.
It's scratch paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, right? Pays out. Because I remember back last year when the Azudum and Gafa came out, Senator Amanda Shelton's bill, and there was that debate on the floor, like we don't need to, we're overstepping our bounds. We shouldn't be legislating federal money, but it still, went through.
Yeah, because they wanted to put a feather in Senator Shelton's cap because she goes to bat for the administration. That was what it was. I mean, and we got to let you go, Senator, but I mean, bottom line is if the governor had made the call that she wanted to include the GovGuam retirees and the government workers and the federal workers, then she should have done the responsible thing and brought that money to the table and put it in the pot instead of just, slapping the private sector workers in the face, basically, and now saying, oh, now you guys I'm going to add all these folks who are already working and earning money. Not like you guys, and you guys can all fight for this $30 million. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, sorry.
I totally agree, and I feel the money should be available until the last person eligible has applied for that, and then you stop funding that All RISE Act.
Or you pay out the private sector workers first, and then with the leftover, you divvy that up with all the people that you wanted to bring to the party.
All eligible, all can be done with a stroke of the pen by an executive order as well. Yeah.
And I feel we had a retiree called, was it last week? This retiree called and she wanted to know about the mayor's verification. And she was really glad, obviously, that she's getting an all rise payment. So I'm not saying like these other people don't need it. I'm just saying that the original intent of the law was to benefit the private sector workers who are out of work. And, well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. By the way, the 16th is coming up. I think that was the day for the public comments period to end from U.S. Treasury. But have you heard anything at all about a draft or anything with how the governor intends to spend the ARPA money?
Thanks for that question. I was on a phone call with the U.S. Treasury via the invitation from our congressman that we listened to the Treasury Department on their requirements or asking the questions per the instructions on how do we distribute this and how do we report this. And there was hundreds of people on that 2 a.m. call this morning asking different questions. The cabinet, the governor has expressed that, we're waiting on the final thing on the 16th and a final report will come out. But they're just talking about understanding the instructions on how to spend this money. But they kept on also, the Treasury Department, in my understanding in this phone call this morning, says it's very flexible. It is very flexible as long as you keep within these guidelines. If you determine it's within your loss of revenue for your government of Guam was due to the pandemic. What particularly was due from the pandemic? How do you show your loss? Just look at the last 2 years. Where would have you been currently if the pandemic happened? And then you can use that amount. You have trouble with this agency will identify it and give us. They want our plan, and all they're waiting. Well, all this thing about July 16th and the final report date and understanding is just clarification on the instructions that they already put out. They're just creating a question and answer to understand more details. I don't think the Treasury has the government of Guam's plan. Otherwise, we've already implemented it, right? I don't think, well, I haven't seen the plan, and I'm sure when the plan gets released, it's going to be as great as the All Rise Act and probably come out with drones and a video of how terrific it is. But in the meantime, just go over the draft with us. You know, help us understand. The senators have introduced their measures. We all signed off on it. They said, "Oh, it looks good. We'll let you know. Thanks for your help." You know, we're doing our own. It's
Maybe that's what the drone show is about. Maybe the drone show and Liberation, they're going to unveil the spending plan.
Right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I hope to make an airplane out of my bill in the form of a drone. That looks so cool.
All right, Senator.
Thanks, Senator.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. I haven't made a paper airplane in a while, so I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. You still got it. You still got
I
it.
do, right? Yep.
Okay.
Should have been an
All
engineer.
right, see you later. There's Daphne. Bye,
Right
Daphne.
on. Yeah. Yeah, and like you said,
I was gonna say, those are some really nice paper airplanes, you guys.
Well, Bree
you guys
went-
just did that on the fly.
you went for the long because you could do it lengthwise, right? I
Bree
went
did the
for
Concorde. You did like a little prop, like
Yeah, mine was the
puddle,
Osprey.
you did the puddle jumper.
No, it was the Osprey, the little chubby airplane with the. Yeah, and I mean, you know, what is that Senator Moylan said? He said, "Oh, wait, Daphne Shimmizu, she's just following instructions. She is. I mean, it's not her job. They say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and she's doing it, and so she is. I mean, she's already. And I commend you, and we'll get her on right now.
And look, and my oh my, look who